Hey, this is Lisa from coochiecoochiecoo.com. Today I'm going to show you a really useful hand stitch which is called the whip stitch. This is really useful when you're making objects and you need to sew around the edge. I've already shown how to do the blanket stitch, which is a little bit more complicated and has a different effect. The whip stitch is really easy for beginners, and so I really suggest it for people who are starting to learn how to sew by hand or for kids. What I did is I cut out a couple of pieces of felted wool sweater. They're just scraps that I already have. You can use any fabric you want. I like to use this because it's thick and so you can see it a little bit more easily. So cut out a shape, 2 layers, and pin them together. Usually we use the whip stitch to join 2 pieces of fabric, and it's really good if you're going to have to stuff the object at some point. I'll show you how to do that. The way I've cut this piece is so that it has some straight lines, some corners both going in and going out, and also a curve. That way I can show you how to do it. I'm also using an embroidery needle and embroidery thread. You can use regular fabric, regular needle, regular thread. I'm just using these because they show up better in the pictures. Alright, so when you start your whip stitch, you're going to first go from the inside here. You want to go near the edge. Okay, see here how I'm going from the inside layer to the outside. When you pull all the way through, and this way your knot will be on the inside and nobody will see it. Okay, now it's really simple. All you have to do is work from the back and go through the front. So you're always going to go from the back. See how I moved up a little bit here? Go through both layers and pull up. Here we go. And again. See? The only thing you need to make sure when you're doing the whip stitch is to try and get it somewhat even. Okay? So you want to get the spacing between each stitch even, and also the distance from the edge of the fabric to the inside. Oops. Okay, so just keep going around like this. Once you get the hang of it, you don't have to flip your fabric over to see where you're putting your needle. You can just do it without really paying much attention. Okay, so I've made my way up towards the corner. There are different ways to sew the whip stitch on the corner. You can do whatever you prefer. I just like to go around it like I normally would, to be quite honest. This is just one way. It leaves the corner a little bit open. So if you really need to close that well, there's another way you can do it, which would be this. I'll show you. All right, so put your needle in like that. Another way you can do is like this. You put your needle in, whoops, you put your needle in here where your last stitch came up, okay? And you pull through, whoops, pull through again, but this time with your thread over on this side, okay? And then you continue sewing. You can see, doing it this way, you make a V. So it kind of depends on what you want, what kind of look you want. If you like that V, then great, do it that way. If not, then don't do it that way. All right, now we're getting up to that other corner, that inside corner. These ones are easier, in my opinion. You want to put your needle so that it's like right there, so that it goes along this intersection. So I'm going to make it so it comes out right where the tip is there now. Okay, there we go. Whoops, that's a little too far in. Okay, so pull through, okay, and then continue sewing along your edge. Okay, and you can see by doing that, it makes a nice stitch right here in the corner, which looks really good. Okay, let's continue sewing all the way up to this other edge. Whoops. Sometimes the stitches can get a little bit funny like this, so you can just adjust them a little bit with the eye end of your needle so that they position better. So remove this. Now let's imagine you make a mistake. So let's say we're gonna go, I don't know, you go like this. Okay, whoops, mistake. All right, this is really easy. Just pull the needle so that the thread comes out, and then just pick it out. Use the tip of your needle, not the tip, the eye part here, and just slip it underneath, and you can pull the thread out. There we go. Pull it out again. There we are. Then all you need to do is thread your needle again and just continue your work. Okay, we've gotten up to this other corner. I'm going to show you another way to turn the corner, which is sort of a mix between these two styles here. Okay, we've sewn up to here. Now we're going to come through again. We're going to come really close here to this other stitch, but we're not actually touching it. Pull through, and then just continue from here. You can see with a curve, it's really easy with the whip stitch because you just need to keep going around the same as you would along a regular straight line. So just keep going around. A lot of times we use the whip stitch for projects that we need to stuff. So what you need to do is sew all around, then there'll be this opening here. Stuff your project with your stuffing and then hold the edges tight with your fingers, or you can use pins or clips, and just continue sewing your whip stitch all the way around. Here we are at the beginning again. You can see we have the stitches we ended with here, and this is the very first stitch. Okay, so what I like to do is put my needle in here. Okay, that way it'll look like a normal whip stitch, but I come out here in the space where that very first stitch was. There we go. So now it looks just perfect. Then I just go over this original stitch, and then but when I pull through, oops. All right, now remember we have two layers here. So I went through this first stitch here, but I have two layers, so I'm going to pull my needle out here through the center. Use your finger or the pin itself, or the needle itself, to kind of adjust this all. I pulled it a little too tight. Okay, and then you can make a little knot. I made it there on the edge. You can make it wherever you want it. And then to hide that, just put your needle back through the center between the two layers there, and just pull it out somewhere else. Okay. I made kind of a mess there, but anyway, you get the idea. It's harder to do it when you're doing a video of it. Okay, then pull it, cut it off. Your whip stitch is all done. So I've shown you how to go around corners, both outside and inside, go around curves, and to close off your thread. Head on over to coochiecoocieCoo.com to find all sorts of great sewing projects and other tutorials, and make sure you click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you soon!